Hey, guys and gals. One second.
Oh,
There I am.
thought that was a ghost ship.
No, it's just a ghost. It's fine. I'm still doing stuff from today here. I've been 7 o'clock this morning till now, 12-hour day. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a holiday week in this business. You don't get a holiday.
Mm.
Bob, did you get a copy of the new and improved VSO report? Okay.
I did. Yep. Thank you.
I increased the font size to 15 or 16. My eyes are getting worse. Someone dropped off one of these new Reader's Digest size keyboards to me today. I thought it was a Scrabble board when I first looked at it.
Hey, Dave, look, I need to set up an appointment with you to come in and talk over a few things. Is
Yeah,
it
it's gonna
possible?
take July.
July?
Yep, I'm so backed up now. I'm taking August and July.
July?
So it's an 18-hour-a-week job. I'm gonna start cutting back on myself. This is crazy.
Oh, I understand that, but when,
30 hours, I'll be here all the time, you know, but it's a blizzard, 5 pounds of crap in a 1-pound bag here.
oh, I understand that. No, I fully understand your situation.
I don't mind doing it, believe me. It's just that today, for an example, I'm getting calls from Lawrence, from Methuen. I got one from 2 from Saugus, 1 from Melrose, 1 from Stoneham, and then the regular Wakefield people. So I can't take the outside folks right away. I'm taking priorities with Wakefield. And
Have you complained to the Melrose people?
no, it's not a complaint. They get the phone numbers. They call me. I redirect them. One gentleman.
No, I mean the people that are running the Veterans Service Organization,
Oh yeah,
the
we've
group.
talked about it. We've talked about it. We really need to break away from the district.
No, I
Wakefield
understand
needs
that.
its own
Yeah.
veteran service officer.
Yeah, but now they've got 2 openings, right?
They have, Stoneham is open, I believe. She's gone, Melanie, and then Michael is he's left, but I think he's working with Roe this afternoon.
Yeah.
Getting some work done.
What about, is his name Jay, the guy from Saugus? Is he still there?
Oh, Jay Pinette? No, he left a while ago. Mike Saunders took that place over a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Didn't Mike leave?
Yeah,
Dave?
Mike's leaving. Yeah, he's probably gonna be gone by this week.
Yeah, Mike's leaving.
And
David,
tomorrow's the food bank, so it's gonna be
It's the curse of being the senior guy.
well,
Well, it's the curse of
There she
being one
is.
of the VSOs that actually does something, because there are those that don't.
I heard that.
Everybody
Malden,
says, well, call Dave. He'll take care of you.
That's right.
I don't mind that. That's kind of a compliment in a way, but I have to make it work, and I do. It seems to be just piling up now. My calendar is filled right through the middle of July. Then I've got to get the Chapter 115 recertifications done within next 2 weeks. So there's Paul. There's the boss. Good evening.
Good evening,
There he
everybody.
is, yep.
How we doing?
Hey, Ed.
All
Hi,
right.
everyone.
Hey, there he
Oh,
is.
I don't know why, but I got 2 Zooms on at the same time. Does everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to use speaker, hide software, full screen, exit. Okay, here we go. Now I'm getting back to my proper settings. So we got, I got 6:30. We got everybody.
We're missing Bill, Christy, and Joe. Everybody else is here.
Bill, Christie, and Joe. Should we give them a minute?
Sure.
We haven't, I haven't seen Christie for a while. I'm a little. I know she works a lot.
Yeah, I think she had a new job or something too.
Yeah, she's
I'll
got,
shoot her, I'll shoot her a text.
she's got new hours. But the next time we get a chance to see her is after the summer. That's the only reason I'm kind of curious.
Who's Mark?
So I hear the stock in the Red Sox is going up.
Just gonna burst our bubble, that's
Man,
what.
for some reason, my Bluetooth is like connected with this, but I can't get it on the Zoom for some reason. Like I'm not hearing anything. How do I just get it off?
Get it off.
I guess because my fucking I can hear a.
So who was that?
Mark.
Mark.
Okay.
Apparently it doesn't have video.
Yeah, he did, but I think he took it off. What's he say? Would he say he can't hear anyone? And there's Joe.
All right. Well, let's warm it up with the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can go ahead and start that, and maybe we'll work through the bugs as we go through this. So we'll start. All righty. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the
of the United States of America,
and to the republic
It's-
for
yeah,
which it stands,
and under the nation
Under God,
with liberty and
indivisible,
justice
with
for all.
liberty
liberty, and
and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
Two. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. We're still missing Christie. And
Christie and Bill, yeah.
Bill also has a new job. So just yeah, and Bill's a fireman. So I'm not sure. I'll check in with him. 'Cause I'm not sure what his agendas are these days. But he just became a fireman about 2 months ago. So tonight's we'll go ahead and get started. We got attendance out of the way. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from May of 2023?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Dale. Is there a second?
Second,
Second, there we go.
All those in favor of approving the minutes from May of 2023?
Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Minutes approved for May of 2023. Mr. David Mangan, you're up.
Okay, good evening, everyone. The VSO report for June 20th, 2023. The Veterans Monthly Food and Dry Goods Support Program will be held this Wednesday, June 21st, behind the Senior Center from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. All 27 applicants have been notified by our volunteer today. If any veteran, spouse, or immediate family member of a veteran would like to participate in this program, please call our office for further information. The products are offered through the Greater Boston Food Bank and have a vast selection of meats, vegetables, and dry goods. Support for this program is also contributed by the Wakefield Food Pantry. The monthly Veterans Coffee Social was held Saturday, June 17th, 10 to noon, here at the McCarthy Senior Center, 30 Converse Street, Wakefield. We discussed many of the changes in the veterans' benefits, including the home health care for family members to assist veterans and be reimbursed for their time as a caregiver. Coffee and donuts were once again donated by the Honeydew on the Quanah Power. Thank you, Derek, and your team for your continued generous support of our social. This will be the last of the socials until September, at which time I will send out a notice and a flyer reminding folks of the event which will be held on the third Saturday, September 16th. We have had an influx of applications for aid and attendance, of which the veterans must have a 100% service-connected disability to qualify. And if the caregiver program is requested, then family caregiver can apply to see if they're eligible. In which case, the veteran would have to have a 70% or higher service-connected disability on or after September 11th, 2001, or on or before May 7th, 1975. And the veteran must have been discharged from the U.S. military or have a date of medical discharge, and the veteran must need at least 6 months of continuous in-person personal care services. If the veteran is over 65 years of age, they can apply for the pension, providing they serve the required amount of time to help offset the cost of home health care. The Welcome Home Bonus Program for Massachusetts veterans who served is also available through our office to see if they are eligible. Massachusetts also has an annuity compensation for 100% service-connected veterans who qualify, and spouses of 100% service-connected veterans who, if they have not remarried, are eligible for the deceased veterans compensation. This is a twice-a-year award that is $1,000 tax-free, offered by the Commonwealth once in February and another in August. For more information, please contact my office. And as I have mentioned each month under Chapter 115 of Massachusetts General Laws, the Commonwealth provides a uniform program of financial and medical assistance for veterans and their dependents. Qualifying veterans and their dependents receive necessary financial assistance for food, shelter, clothing, fuel, and medical care in accordance with a formula that takes into consideration the number of dependents and the income from all sources. For appointments for veteran services, please contact me with any questions you may have regarding ongoing benefits or submissions of new benefits. We're located downstairs at the rear entrance of the Senior Center, 30 Converse Street, Wakefield, and is by appointment only. Veteran service hours of operation are Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Holidays on Monday hours will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Voicemail is checked 7 days a week at 781-246-6377. And on a final note, a farewell to Councilor's liaison, Bob Vincent, for all of his hard work and dedication to the board, and a hail to Councilor Ed Dombrowski as the new Veterans Advisory Board liaison. The input and development through the knowledge of community concerns and commitments are always guided by the passion of our councilors, being interactive with the board, and for this, we are very grateful. Are there any questions at all?
Hey, Dave, is it possible you could send out those comments via email, make a copy of those and send them out? Because there was some good information in there, and it's just hard to keep it all.
Absolutely. You can go visit the recorded message here on the, it's all recorded. Or I'll send you an email, Dale.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. I'll send this report to you. I have your email address.
Hey, Dale, I also think those are included in the minutes, and they may be a little bit lagging, but they're posted online.
Oh, okay.
Am I correct, Robert?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No questions for David. Thank you very much for a good report. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, so it is baseball season. We'll go around the horn. A little bit different here, but just if you don't have anything, just say you don't have anything to report. If you got something to chime in, please feel free to go ahead and chime in. And I'll start with Dan.
These things. Flag Day. Do you think maybe next year or in the future, we can work with the American Legion and kind of help them out? This past year, there was, 3 of them there, but they were barely able to stand up. And I think we could do the Pledge of Allegiance, maybe the national anthem, but just a little ceremony. And then the Boy Scouts can do their flag retirement.
Well, the one thing that I learned about that ceremony is there, you have to unlock the box to get the power on so that they can run a cord because they brought their own speaker
Hmm.
system. Okay, they do have music and everything else. So we were not able to get electricity, to the event. To be honest, that black cloud that was over, I probably, we were better off not having the power turned on and the wires run to the box. But I'm not sure who to call. I think both fire and police have access to that box. And usually Chief Sullivan is there at the event. I've seen him
Just give them a little hand, that's what I'm saying. That,
Yeah.
guys need a little help now. And I think Dennis Fazio really controls that box.
Okay.
That true, Ed? Is that who takes care of that?
Yes,
I think-
actually, Department of Public Works can handle that.
Does, okay.
Usually with the fire pit, we have the fire department there too. They were not there. But there's not a big risk. Any questions for Dan? Anything else, Dan?
No, I think that's it for a while.
Okay. Miriam,
I really don't have anything. I've been too busy with my Gold Star Wives convention to do anything else, so I really don't have anything offhand.
okay. Any questions for Miriam? We'll go to Joe.
Nothing for the group, just Dave at work. We have what we call an employee resource group. So think of like different groups of people that identify with different things. So I belong to the veterans group at work, but we're based out of Burlington, Mass. And they did ask for local folks in the community, so VSOs. So for anyone, I don't know how many other people at Microsoft work or live in Wakefield, but I did give your contact info and did do a little blurb about the board here and kind of what we do that will get circulated throughout Microsoft New England.
Great.
Hey, Dave, do you have anything for Joe to take to work?
Well, anything he might need as far as the Veterans Care Program, you can put some of my business cards on or I can make out a business card, a large picture of it, and you can post it on a cork board, maybe in the break areas or something like that.
All right, cool.
But I'm on the webpage, so that, you can go onto the Wakefield webpage. I think it has all my information there. And va.gov and mass.gov VA is anything and everything that I work with. So,
Okay.
and there are a lot of spouses don't know about the benefits that are available to them. And I've just recently got a $30,000 retroactive annuity claim established for one of the veterans. She came down from Methuen. And the next thing is to get the DIC in place for her. I'm going to use that as a stepping tool because it went through legal and they approved it. So it does happen. It happens a lot. I mean, the 5 years I've been doing this, going on the 5 years, I think I've got about 12 of them in place already. So it works.
So hey, Joe, I got something to add to your deck. Would it be okay if you had, like, at our monthly meeting, maybe do a presentation on open jobs at Microsoft?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Can you bring that information? If you got 3 to 5 jobs that are kind of critical for Microsoft, we can just put that out in the public forum. And if we know veterans that are in transition, if we know military spouses that are looking for jobs and looking for work, that might be something that we can connect them to.
Mike Saunders, his new job with the VA is about employment for veterans. That's what he's doing now. He's working directly 40 hours a week at it. And it has to do with veteran employment opportunities.
We do work with the VA in West Roxbury on, with a few different programs. So we can even just localize some of the things. So whether it's skilling or people that just want to like learn basic things about office programs. And then we do have like training for like cybersecurity, like for a personal standpoint. Like I actually sent my dad through this, like, you know, what not to click on. So you don't fall victim to like a cybersecurity scam or something like that. So I'll take a look at what we have and I'll send it over to you, Paul and Dave. So you guys can kind of see it, and then you tell me what makes the most sense and I can get more information on it.
Yeah, because I having worked in the information technology field, there's oftentimes a lot of projects that need some resources that veterans are good fit for. Okay. And their families. I mean, their spouses, and some of it's full-time work, some of it's contracted work, but still it's, you know, there's opportunity out there, definitely.
Yep. Cool.
We'll go with Chris.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, just a couple things. You know, after the Memorial Day ceremony a couple of weeks ago, the author Andrew Biggio, the premise behind his book, The Rifle, had me thinking about different ways to capture stories of veterans. Right, that's the whole reason the book was written, to capture the greatest generation as they slowly are dwindling. And I think we have a large veteran population in Wakefield. That I would love to discuss at some point, doing something similar with our veteran community here, and maybe getting them onto social media. The town has a great social media page, a couple of them, especially when you consider the size of Wakefield compared to other larger towns, has a pretty large following. And I would love to discuss with, I think stakeholders would be the town communications director, Mr. Mangan, and then obviously our veteran population. Just as a quick overview, I would love to discuss maybe getting some of our veterans' stories out onto social media in the public, and even maybe getting them into the Veterans Corner and the Wakefield Daily Item every so often, just to introduce them to the community. I think a lot of people, particularly in younger generations, don't know anybody that serves or has ever served, and it would be a nice way to kind of bring those two groups together.
Chris, what about a podcast? Putting together a podcast? I've never done one, but I heard that they're pretty interesting, and I've listened to a few on the radio in my house, and I found them fascinating.
Sure. So I think that's certainly one way. I know a lot of veterans who participate in podcasts. I'm not savvy with them personally, but I can certainly do some research, reach out to some folks I know. But I just throw this out there as a conversation starter. It doesn't have to be something that is nailed down today. But I think leveraging technology is a great way to introduce veterans to the younger population that relies on it every day.
I think it's a great idea, and I think we've dealt with Colleen Getty from Room to Write, and she has a column in the Item quite often, but I think she might be somebody. I think she does a podcast too, but we've had some stories in the Item. I think on the third page they usually put them, but they're nice stories, and of course the veteran would be great to have one.
Okay.
The Wakefield Park Bench also, if anyone's familiar with that, it's a local podcast actually, that all the different businesses in town and a lot of the different services have been interviewed by the people that run the program. And it's called Park Bench. And take a look at it. They actually came to my office and interviewed me for about 45 minutes, and it went up. It was pretty good. And it got the word out.
Okay, yeah. So that's the sort of stuff that I'm looking to try to generate as far as ideas go. That's very helpful, and I'd love to continue the conversation at some point. But I was just looking to really just get everybody's perspective here.
Very good.
As I said, as a conversation starter.
Hey, Chris, have you stuck your head into the team at WCAT?
Other than meeting them on Memorial Day, I've not ever had any interaction with them. No.
You should. The summertime's a good time to pop in.
Yep.
Their studio is behind the high school there.
Got it.
Barbara is the receptionist up there, but Ryan and Ian are typically the head honchos that can help you out. Ian's very technical. Ryan is in charge of the whole program and the WCAT team. They do podcasts, they do social media. They, all of their productions are basically put out on YouTube. And they can walk you through that process and show you where some of the other community organizations are, some of the other committees in town have a place out there on YouTube to get the information. Town council, all of their meetings are posted on YouTube, okay, shortly after the meeting actually occurs, so you can listen to it and watch it at your convenience. So there's a place there that, and these meetings also are posted on YouTube, just to give you an idea. And WCAT's account is what supports that. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Dan mentioned Colleen Getty and Room to Write. Colleen Getty, and she was a member of the board over at WCAT for a long while, and is intimately familiar with the services that they offer. So it's a good place to check things out too. And I did pass to you, Jennifer McDonald is also a good place to check into.
Yep, I have her name here. I have that email flagged for later action.
One of the questions I have for her is, some committees have a Facebook page, some committees don't have Facebook pages. Is that something that's beneficial to a committee in town government? I don't know.
I did notice, yeah, I saw the other day, the Human Rights Commission has one, and it was on my list of things to ask when I reach out to her, because I think it removes the intermediary, right? You're able to get information out immediately without having to go through multiple levels in town government. What the do's and don'ts are, I'm sure you have to get some sort of training to run the social media page on behalf of a town committee. But it would be a question I'd be curious to get answered.
Yeah, just I noticed that the Human Rights Committee, they posted their webpage on the town website, which is interesting. So there's a link there, which means they can bring in the photographs and the pictures on the town website, which is something that they're doing. And they also have about 1.1 thousand followers. So that's not a bad resource, not a bad tool.
Sure. But pending questions or comments, that was really all I had for today.
Okay. Any questions for Chris? Dale, you're up.
Okay. Dan mentioned some concern with the guys from the AMVets. I want to second what he's saying. We had an experience with the West Side Social Club this Memorial Day where they were supposed to be there with equipment and shells for doing a salute, and they weren't there. With Tom Collins being incapacitated and good chance of not returning.
I think there's only 4 of them left, so you can't blame.
Yeah.
No, I'm not blaming them. I'm not throwing arrows at them or anything like that. They're old gentlemen and they're doing their best. But I think something's got to be done to support in another way what they have brought to the table for years past, because they're, like all of us, past their prime.
They always did. What the American Legion always did was the volley that we did.
And I've done it with them for the last.
After we dedicate the trees and
Right.
and that they do the volley just before taps is played.
Right.
And I'm surprised to hear that they did not show up.
Yeah. Well, one showed up, okay, but without ammunition and without clips for the guns to be able to set them up.
Yeah, it was a little tricky without the magazines.
Yeah, I think Sam Stella was supposed to have the ammunition.
And Sam didn't show up.
Oh, well, that's where the ammunition was, and I'm surprised at him. He's always been there. I wasn't there this year, so I didn't know that that's the first I heard that they didn't show up.
Yeah, well, I can't think of his name right now. One did show up, it's the older
Bill
gentleman.
Walsh.
Bill
Yeah,
Walsh.
Bill
Bill
Walsh,
Walsh
yeah.
was, it was supposed to be Bill Walsh, Sam Stella, and you. The three of
Yeah,
you
right.
were the ones that I talked.
Right, and,
I'm,
but,
I'm just really surprised at Sam's. There has
Yeah.
to be a good reason why he didn't show up, because
Yeah.
he doesn't do that.
so, well, as I said, my concern is that their ability to participate, I think, is diminishing fast.
Well, other than Sam and Bill, the rest of them, Paul Fazina is like 93. He
Yep.
wouldn't be able to do it. Tom
Yep.
is really sick. He's moved out of his house and moved into assisted living. Tom Boland is having eye trouble right now. He's back and forth to the doctor because one of my wives is taking him back and forth to the doctor. So he's having trouble with his eyes, and that's it. That's all that's in there. They've
Yeah.
closed down the auxiliary even. There's not even any more auxiliary members.
I
I had to
understand.
switch my post.
And I understand Sam,
Kind of sad.
yeah, I understand Sam is still essentially taken over what Tom was doing.
Yeah,
However, and I approached him because of the problems we had about letting our police department hold the rifles so that that and the ammunition would be available. They have lockers available in the new building. He was adamant that he would not support that.
I figured. I'll give him a call, see what happened. Because there's
Okay.
got to be a good reason for it. Sam wouldn't do that. It's just not him. So,
Yeah, he was planning on doing a parade in Reading, his hometown, okay, but apparently he overslept because he'd had a rough night.
that's what I'm afraid there's something else wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give him a call.
So
That's all I have.
I got a question for everybody to kind of along the lines of Dale. The Lynn English Junior ROTC group, do those students have access to rifles with cartridges, and or would they be qualified to do that at some of our events to augment?
Really?
That's not a bad idea. I don't know what the requirements are. They were certainly physically capable of doing it.
At the
I don't know.
JROTC programs
know
I've
about
worked
the-
with, they do have
Huh?
access. The JROTC programs I've worked with in the past, they do have drill and ceremony teams. They do have access to ceremonial rifles, like M1s or something similar.
Yeah, the rifles that the AMVETs have cannot shoot a projectile. They're strictly for shooting blanks. They're actually welded shut.
Right.
So there's no danger of them shooting someone.
I know the junior ROTC programs do marksmanship, and I think they shoot 22s. They might shoot pellet guns, but
Blanks have about the same kick as a 22.
right. But I don't know if they have ceremonial weapons for the color guard and those purposes.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're in.
Does anybody know who we would call to find that out? Because maybe that's the route where, I mean, I'm just talking for the West Side for their ceremony. I maybe that's a route we could look at to have the volley
Not
next
a
year,
bad
but
idea.
I wouldn't even know who to contact.
But I have some friends that run JROTC programs at other schools on the South Shore. I don't know how they're structured, but I can reach out to them and see if they have a point of contact over at Lynn. You said Lynn English, right?
Lynn English is the closest one.
That would be great. Thank you, Chris.
I can start there.
Thank you. Yep, that's
Um,
good.
Beverly High School has a Marine Corps program that might be able to help us also.
Oh,
Keep it with the Army, Paul. No Marines needed.
Well,
The Ancient Honorable Artillery Company in Boston may have something too.
yeah, the only Army program I know of that's close is Methuen, up there on Ranger Road. But I don't know. That's a big distance. I'm trying to stay local here.
Plus, I think Memorial Day, there's a lot of groups going to different places.
Yeah, Revere,
big-
Revere also has an Army ROTC program, a junior ROTC program.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, just brainstorming, if we contact the CMP, that they might have stuff that, M1s that are not functional for shooting, but could be used for ceremonial type things.
Yeah. No, that's a good feedback, and the lesson learned here is we have to identify the group, and then we got to get them on the calendar and the schedule, because when you're dealing with schools,
Right.
you can't call them up and say, next month we'd like to have you. It doesn't work
Yeah.
that way.
No, it
You gotta
doesn't.
get on their annual
Yeah.
calendars in order to
It's
get,
best if we could do it out of Wakefield High.
We're not gonna have
Or
kids shoot
the
rifle
vote.
out of Wakefield High. Is that what
Say
you're
again?
saying, Dale?
But
We're not gonna have kids shooting the rifles out of Wakefield High. There's nobody there that would be, I think, qualified to do that.
I'm not sure what, they're just shooting blanks. It's not like there's,
Yeah, but I'd rather have, just my personal opinion, because I'm usually on the Memorial Day committee, I'd feel much safer having kids that had been trained with rifles than just have kids out of Wakefield High. I'd feel more comfortable with people who have been trained to shoot the rifles, and if we could get the rifles for blanks, then fine, we'll get them for them, but at least they're qualified to shoot. They've had the training to shoot a
Yeah.
gun. That's the way I feel. I mean, I'm
Okay, well-
much
No, I
prefer
understand.
people
No,
trained
you-
with guns
you-
than untrained with guns. So,
you've raised another good point, okay? I'm a member of the Reading Rifle Club, and they do training for this type of stuff. And they have a youth program. And we might be able to contact them.
it's up to do. Well, I mean, if Chris could get me a contact, we'll go from there. And then of all other avenues that you're bringing up, at least somewhere we could get somebody that's trained to do it instead
Right.
of, and then not put it on the guys from the American Legion anymore, because they're all getting older.
Mhm.
I mean, I shouldn't say that because some of them are the same age as me. However, they still are getting older, and it'd be
Yes,
easier not to put them on the spot every year.
yeah,
Okay,
I
yes.
understand.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Like, you like fine wine, you're getting better.
Yeah. Getting better with age, of course.
okay. Actually, good point. That's, the junior ROTC programs, the two closest to Revere has an Army program, and the Marine program is over at Lynn English. So.
Okay.
And we should
Maybe-
follow up with those two schools. If we can get on their calendar, they get points for doing those community services too.
Yeah, it would be great. I have a contact, I'll call them. Now, for me.
Maybe, Paul, both Dave and I are on the Vietnam Veterans of America. Maybe we can bring that up at one of the meetings and see what they might do.
Okay,
Oh,
A
I
little
didn't even
group,
think of
not-
that. I could have called them. I could call them. I know I have contacts for them, so.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have the different avenues that we can try and find somebody new.
right,
So
exactly.
we're not concerned about it. Get it
Yep.
set up for next year.
Well, the other resource that we have available to us is, we got sailors down at the USS Constitution that actually offer that service on their form.
You're right. For burials, they do.
Again, you gotta book that 6 months out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Major holidays, it's hard to get anybody for 4th of July, Memorial Day. There's just so many towns that, want somebody.
Well, yeah, that's what we'll do it early.
That's why you gotta get it in now for next year. Okay. Rob, anything? on your sheet there?
Nope, nothing to report. All the basic logistics are covered in the agenda elsewhere.
Wow, the most busiest guy on the board. All right. Well, I made Rob's job easy, so I'm gonna read it. If there's no questions for Rob, you got me for a little bit here. I just wanna,
Did you see if Mark had anything?
oh, did I forget Mark?
Yes.
I don't have anything extra to
I'm
report.
sorry about that, Mark.
Anxiously awaiting what you have to say.
Rob should have said Mark hadn't said anything, but that's okay.
Marion caught it for us, though. She was paying attention.
She's on the ball. Okay. Rob, I wish you said something. But anyway, I wanted to just share with the board. First of all, we've got behind us, we have a terrific year. And we have a few terrific accomplishments that I just want to highlight. In 2022 and 2023, Wakefield, the town of Wakefield actually added a set of service flags. And they're included, they include the newest branch of service, which is Space Force. And the service flags were included as a part of the 2022 Veterans Day ceremony, the 2023 Memorial Day ceremony. And for the first time, the service flags were used as a part of the Wakefield Memorial High School assembly. And they were also present at the Wakefield Memorial High School 2023 graduation. I'd like to include those service flags at other events throughout the town in 2023 and 2024, events such as homecoming, other community events that we have that are in the calendar. It doesn't cost us anything to put those flags up, and they should be seen. Veterans also participated in Town Day in October on the Common, and we provided a table with information on many of the earned benefits, such as the VA healthcare, the education, the VA loans, and the VA life insurance, and so much more. Information was provided by the Veteran Service Officer, and that table was manned by many of us here, and also Counselor Vincent was there at the table. That was actually the first time I had a chance to have a conversation with him. And that's where we learned a lot about each other's careers. So participating and bringing those veteran tables to those types of community events is highly recommended. And I encourage that, and I will continue to do that in 2023 and 2024. Also on Veterans Day, the town of Wakefield rededicated Veterans Field, okay, with the support of Lois Benjamin and Dan Benjamin and many of us. And that was a large accomplishment for the town. Veterans Day also included a Medal of Honor recipient, the son of a Medal of Honor recipient, Thomas Hudner Jr., where his father, Captain Thomas Hudner, is a recipient of the Medal of Honor for the his attempt at rescuing his wingman, Jesse Brown, after crashing on a Korean mountainside during the Battle of Chosin Reservoir. Also of note, the warship, the USS Thomas Hudner, named after Captain Thomas Hudner, is commanded by a graduate of Wakefield Memorial High School and a former resident of Wakefield. Her name is Commander Shelby Nickerton, the United States Navy. A good group of people to keep in touch with, and she does communicate frequently on behalf of the commander and the crew as to what the Atlantic Fleet is up to. And she does send her best. On Veterans Day, we also had Peter Fazina, who served in World War II in Korea and received the Republic of Korea Ambassador of Peace Medal on Veterans Day. Peter was also honored to have his name, he signed the rifle, okay, that Andrew Biggio brought to Memorial Day last month. So it was an honor to have him in the audience, and the recognition is definitely well deserved. In December, the town hosted Wreath Day over at Forest Glade Cemetery. For the first time, we brought WCAT over to that ceremony, an outdoor ceremony, to go ahead and lay about 450 wreaths provided by Wreaths Across America and the residents of Wakefield that purchased them. That's an honor. That's again an honor to do in December, and something that I do want to continue to do. Veterans also gathered at Temple Emmanuel in February. It was a bit cold, if you remember. It was about 8 degrees.
Very.
But they opened up the temple in February 2023 in the morning to remember and honor the 4 chaplains aboard the USAT Dorchester that was destroyed and sunk by a German submarine that launched a torpedo, sinking the transport ship in February of 1943. The 4 chaplains sacrificed their life vests, their life preservers, giving up their preservers so that others could live to defend our freedoms in World War II. In April of 2023, Wakefield Memorial High School varsity lacrosse team hosted a salute to troops, a pregame ceremony honoring our veterans. And that's something that the Wakefield Memorial High School athletic department would like to continue, not only with the lacrosse team, but with other sports such as hockey and football and basketball. In May of 2023, the veteran community came together to honor the 161 fallen on Memorial Day. And Andrew Biggio, the former Marine, former Wakefield Veteran Service Officer and author and law enforcement officer, presented his work to the public, remembering our World War II veterans. The Veteran Service Officer also presented the Medal of Fidelity to Pam Hart, Claire Brown, and Kathleen McKenna for the sacrifices in honorable military service that Petty Officer Donald Hart, Specialist 5 William Brown, and Tech Sergeant Harold McKenna gave in their honorable military service to our country. These accomplishments are just a few and are the results of a combined effort from all of us in town and the members of the Veterans Advisory Board. I just want to thank you for the work that you've done this year as we've supported our town council, and supported our residents to get the word out about what veterans are about and what we do. Many thanks go to Dave Mengen for supporting our veterans. And David, thank you for hosting the monthly coffee socials, providing an open forum for veterans to voice their concerns and to seek answers to questions that they may have about their earned benefits. I also want to just hats off to Counselor Robert Vincent for his mentorship as the Veterans Advisory Board liaison over the past year. For those of us that are on this board, I got to tell you, it was a pleasure to have an officer from a sister service who was a JAG officer and a judge advocate general and an appellate judge. It was an honor to have him on that board. And I learned a lot about him. We shared a lot of personal information. And we also shared a lot about what we did what he did in the Navy and what I did in the Army and how it kind of overlapped. We actually know a couple people together. So that's kind of neat when we compared our notes. Looking ahead near term, each of you has there's a copy that I sent out that should, I think, Robert, you have it, is a copy of our schedule and of meetings and events for 2023 and 2024. I did pass a copy to Counselor Dombrowski, but if you don't have a copy, Robert, I'd like to include that in the minutes, and we can post that online so the public can see it. I'm sure that it'll change. But I also want to encourage all of us to continue to reach out to the community supporting WCAT programs, other programs like Room to Write, and continue to submit content to the Wakefield Daily Item for the Veterans Corner that they have given us. You don't need to run the content through the board before you publish it. We're all adults. We've all been appointed by our town council. Feel free to just go to the item if you've got something that is of interest to veterans in the community and let them see it, and let the editor do the editor's job, and they can decide if you have a doubt. So I highly recommend pushing information out to those resources. Next month is the town of Wakefield's 4th of July parade. And I encourage you to join the annual event. Bring your friends and bring your family, and be sure to stay for the fireworks following the parade. It is indeed a spectacular event for the town. And I also saw in today's item that the West Side Social Club is honoring James Scott as this year. Jim Scott passed away last December. There's probably no better person in town that I can think of other than Mr. Scott to kind of represent what this town is about. He really gave his heart and soul to those of us here in Wakefield and our residents. Councilor Ed Dombrowski joins us this evening to bring us through another year. And Councilor Dombrowski is a powerful voice for veterans in the town, and I look forward to having Councilor Dombrowski as the Veterans Advisory Board liaison this year. And I just want to turn the meeting over to Councilor Dombrowski if you have any words to share with the board.
Paul, thank you. And I think everyone was able to see I was making my way from Boston, but I made it back to Wakefield safe and sound. First, I just want to say I am incredibly honored and humbled to be the liaison to such an important committee or board in this case. I have tremendous respect for all of the bravery and sacrifice that I see on everyone that's on this screen tonight. So thank you for that. And as Paul had mentioned, I want to be your voice on the town council. I want to make sure that I am representing your interests, looking out for you, and helping you in every way that I can. I enjoyed the coffee on Saturday. Thank you, Dave, for putting that together, as you always do so well. And I was able to speak with a number of veterans and understand some of the issues. Hearing the benefits discussion was really enlightening for me, having not had those kind of discussions before. But I do also want to remind folks that we have a lot of resources on the town side. We have a budget item for veteran services. And in fact, that's been coming in under budget. And I don't think it's a reflection of us over budgeting for veterans, but I think it's a reflection of veterans perhaps not being as aware of what is available from our town specifically for those who have served. So I look forward in the weeks and months ahead to work with Dave and Paul and this entire board to figure out ways that we can make sure that we get the word out to veterans that there are a number of different financial supports that the town offers. I know another big part of the discussion too related to the issue of some property tax relief. I know that that's a big issue. Sam Stella had mentioned it at the Flag Day event and also at the coffee, and I understand where he's coming from with that, and I'm working on that now. I will continue to work on that again with Paul and Dave and anyone on this board that's interested in being engaged with that process. But I think it's important, and I think that it's something that has been overlooked for too long, and we need to correct that. So I'm committed to working through that issue as well for all of our veterans in town. So those are some of the more immediate things that come to mind. But I very much am looking forward to working with this board in the coming year. Again, it's a tremendous honor to be a part of such a distinguished group. And I encourage all of you to reach out to me on any issues, be it veterans related or anything town related. That's why I'm here. I'm here to serve, and I care about our community and I care about our veterans, and I want to do whatever I can to be supportive in any and every way that I can. So thank you, Paul, for the time, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Councilor Dombrowski from the board? So one question I always ask from the liaisons from town council, what do you prefer, how do you prefer we address you? As Counselor Dombrowski, as by your first name?
Oh, please call me Ed. Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
okay, Ed, we'll call you Ed. It's a fair question. Okay, it's a fair question. And please call me Paul. Okay. I retired and I don't wear my rank. So it's something that I feel an obligation to others that have served our country. And I have met thousands that have done so very honorably, and I owe it to them to continue to serve.
Paul, can I
Yes,
make a suggestion that you just read the report on what the accomplishments were for the Veterans Board for the year? Could you submit that to maybe Sherry and put that in the town report? They're always looking for, pages on the different committees in Wakefield and the boards. And I think that would show what we did for the year and some of our outreach.
I can do that. Of course,
And I happen to like that picture that's on there.
yeah. We need some more words on that annual report to support that picture of you and that Lois in front of the sign. But I will submit that, and Mr. Secretary, I'm gonna probably copy you on that submission to Sherry. Okay.
They're always asking for it. They want that kind of stuff on the town report. And that report goes back, I think, 140 years. Very interesting to read it, even going back to the 1800s.
Okay. I will do that. Any other, any questions of me from the board before we break for the summer? I can see the rumbling now. Any matters not anticipated that are on the agenda from anybody? Okay. Well, a personal thanks to everybody on the board. And I do want you to stay safe in the month of July. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 15th at 6:30. That is usually a very short and simple meeting just to get everybody back together on the same page. As we depart, there is one thought that I have that I wanted to share with everybody for Veterans Day of 2023. I'm going to throw an idea out here. Because Veterans Day 2023 on November 11th is a Saturday, I'm thinking about putting together a brunch, say at 10 o'clock, for speakers to show up and open to the public at 11.
Whereabouts?
Civical,
I was thinking the AmeriCal Civic Center.
Americal, yeah.
Sure.
I know you booked, Rob's already booked Galvin Middle School, I know that, but I'm just trying to think of, I'm entertaining the fact that we may not have a large participation and we might be able to take advantage of a Saturday and a Saturday morning to do something different that we usually don't do. Is there a motion to discuss that before we break?
Want a
think
motion
it's a
to
good-
discuss having a brunch?
Yes,
Okay, I'll make the motion so that we can discuss having a brunch on the morning of Veterans Day. That would be on Saturday, November 11th.
11.
Motion to bring this consideration to the August meeting for the summertime thought patterns on how to go about that.
Yeah, is there, the one question about discussion, I second the motion for discussion.
Well, thank you.
One question I have for discussion, is the West Side Social Club doing anything on Veterans Day?
We do not. In fact, I was waiting. I was going to suggest if you want it, I will go and get it booked for Saturday and it will be given to us for nothing. I can assure you of that. I'm still vice president then, so it'll be given to you for nothing. So,
She's willing to throw her weight around.
yeah, there you go. No, that would be something that would be happy anyway. I just
Yeah,
take it
that's
to
right.
the board.
Yeah,
Once they
yeah.
know it's for the,
Yeah.
it's a veterans event, then they would give it
Absolutely.
for nothing anyway.
Literally, they would eat it up.
Yeah.
Easy
But I mean,
access,
you're gonna
straight
have to
in,
have
no stairs.
caterers.
no-
I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
No, it's just easy access, straight in, no stairs.
Right, is
Getting an Asian community, so.
and if you're gonna have caterers coming in, we have the kitchen there, so it's, I mean, we have everything that you need right there.
So you're thinking of doing the brunch at the West Side Social Club and then moving the ceremony to a different location, or are you doing it at the America altogether?
Oh, I don't know.
So you don't want the Galvin because it's a Saturday? Is that the idea?
No, well, I'm thinking of doing something a little different for Veterans Day. We haven't. I'm just discussing it.
Gotcha, okay.
I'm not saying no to the Galvin. I'm just saying I don't.
No,
have-
Now that you mentioned the Saturday, the Galvin, do they have the Wakefield Basketball Association? Is that usually taking place?
That's at the Americo.
Oh, basketball's at the Americal.
America. Oh,
Yeah.
It'll be going full blast.
it depends on what you want to do for a ceremony, Paul. You know, I think if you could probably have the brunch and the ceremony all in one place, but it just depends on what you're going to do for the ceremony.
Okay.
I would say
Yeah.
if we could map out what you're looking for a ceremony, then would be more apt to know where we want to have it. Whether we want it in two different places or whether we want to have it in one place.
Well, that's why I go to the beach in the summer, because I go up and down the beach and I ask people, you know, what, you have talent. Would you like to come and participate in our ceremony in Wakefield? I don't have a presenter. I don't have a specific speaker in mind. I'm concerned because it is on a Saturday morning and I don't know what other events in town might conflict with that. The WBA is one. And I don't want to interfere and trip up on that. I do know they use the Americal. I also know they use the gymnasium at the Galvin too. So there may be some coordination that we have to kind of sort of look at because it is on a Saturday. That's a little bit different. I'm also very excited, Miriam, that we might be able to include in the announcements, maybe the West Side Social Club, and do like a joint event.
That the West Side, well, I don't know, because we don't do a Veterans Day event
Yes,
at all,
yeah.
you know. So I mean, we could figure out something.
Yeah, we might be able to figure something out.
I was thinking, by then, I'm sure I'm gonna have a few medals to give out to families, either the Fidelity or the Liberty Medal. And I can get a hold of General McGurn, and he can come in full uniform and award these medals if I get them by then, you know?
That'd be
Okay.
great.
He can be a speaker, I can get him to be a speaker for us. He's great at speaking, so.
Well, I'll tell you, just off the top of my head, the number one person that I would like to get is Woody.
Oh, from the Ancient Honorable. I'll give it a try.
I've got Woody, but Woody's health is I hope he's strong enough to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the problem. He's and we haven't had somebody from the Air Force. So that's what I'm thinking.
Well, last time I spoke with him for almost 45 minutes to an hour, he seemed receptive to doing a public events like this. Jerry Sweeney is an active member with the Ancient Honorable, and I see him already at St. Joe's, but I see him once in a while. We go to the movies together, so I will talk to him and I'll find out what he can do.
I got Mr. Sweeney's card. I already had lunch with him about it.
Okay.
And yeah, we talked about it. So there's an opportunity there. We've got a stage. Woody likes to have a stage, and he's a great American. And if you've been to Terminal C, you'll see Woody's portrait on the wall, on the mural, just for Counselor Dombrowski. Ed, he's a former Tuskegee Airman.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he'd be an excellent speaker. He's just a little old. I think he's 94. He might be 96. He's also,
He's died, I know that.
yeah, he's also a graduate of Yale, and he was on the cover of Yale magazine a couple months ago. So
So why don't you try and, talk to him and start to think about what kind of a program you want, and then when we get together in August, we can discuss by then where you may want to have it, depending on what you're gonna have, and then we could put it together. I mean, I could get the hall if you want me to have the hall for the west side. I can get that booked just so it's there. We can always say no if we
Yeah.
decide differently. But I'll just have Carol book it. And but it's something if you have it there, you're gonna want it. It's gonna be a brunch, and we'll have to figure out the time frame.
yeah, brunch and a ceremony.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Once you figure out the ceremony, and if you're gonna have a brunch and what the time frames are gonna be for each, then you can figure out how long you're gonna need, whichever venue you go to. But I'd just say, start thinking about putting together the ceremony and who you can get, and then when we meet on August 15th, we can kind of put some finalization in how we're gonna do it.
Okay. I'm just running
Which is
some,
my suggestion.
I'm just running some ideas, against, this is what you guys are for. I'm throwing the ideas out there to get the feedback.
Well, I'd like to just suggest that we have a little more advertising of the event. In other words, using something like those little road trailers. I think the town's got 4 or 5 of them. They use them for like Festival by the Lake, which say, ceremony at 11 a.m. Veterans Day, and park them around town. And
Okay.
also in Stonium, they have like the political lawn signs stuck around town. But just getting it out in different places where somebody's driving by and might say, I think I'll drive in there, park, and go into the event. I think last year we had just that one sign right at the entrance going into Galvin.
Yeah. I'll inquire about those signs. I like those signs when at either end of town to
Yep.
kind of sort of let people know that there's an event coming up, and the town will, if you ask, the town will probably support that without a problem. Anyway, I didn't want to make a decision. I just wanted to have a discussion.
Okay.
To kind of throw some ideas out there. Rob, the only task that I have of you is if you could dig into the scheduling in and around town to find out if what conflicts are on a Saturday that we may be faced with if we have the event at the AmeriCal versus the Galvin versus any place else, to see what we may be up against. All right. The last thing, I do have one alibi. That's a fire. That's a round that didn't go down the chamber. So if you're interested, on July 15th on a Saturday up in Hamilton, Massachusetts, it's Military Service Day. It is an all-day program up at the Patton Homestead that it has probably an audience of about 1,200 to 1,500 people. It's open to the public. They bring in tanks, they bring in helicopters. There's reenactors, there's music, there's food trucks, there's beer. It's a free event. They may charge you or ask you for a donation for parking of $5 or $10 per car. But it's a great family event up at the Patton Homestead in Hamilton, Massachusetts on Saturday, July 15th. Unfortunately, it
Did I
does.
hear free beer? Free beer?
I didn't say free beer.
What
You
time, what time,
gonna allow us on the polo grounds?
what time is that, Paul? Does it open?
That starts about 10 o'clock and it runs through about 4 and 5 in the afternoon. And the patent library will be open. And there'll be an open house for the public.
For the grandkids.
Yeah, bring the kids, bring the family, and I don't know about pets, but I'm sure you can probably get away with the dogs.
No goldfish in a bag.
They got canoes, they got fishing and all that other stuff up there on the Ipswich River. I highly recommend it if you haven't done it. All right, I'm done. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, who did the motion to adjourn?
Rob,
Rob did.
David, you're not a voting member. You can't second.
Ah, darn it.
I'll second it then.
Marion
Want to get out. A long
All right,
day.
all those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
If nobody's second, do we have to stay here?
Anyway,
Good night,
thank you
everybody.
very much. Thank you
Night,
for your
folks.
support, and I look forward to seeing everybody over the summer and in August.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yes.
We